Alright. There we are. Hello. Let me make sure everything is working properly. Looks like we are a go. Hello there. I'm streaming. Yes. Did I actually post this? Not important. We're good. I think, yep, everything seems to be going quite well. I'm sorry, I'm like making sure everything's working. Music.
I read that chapter.
Ah! Okay. So, today I'm working on this animation meme I have been putting some work into for a couple of weeks now. I haven't been working on it, like, consistently. Honestly, I've just been kind of on and offing it because I'm lazy. I have the first 2 shots done, aside from editing, which I will be doing on my own time, not on stream. I usually don't stream my work process because a lot of projects like these never get finished, and that is a warning. You might never see the finished version of this. Hopefully you will. I just had a couple free hours tonight and felt like streaming, and this is what I wanted to work on, so. We probably won't get to the other animated sequence I've got, because I've got like a couple things thumbed. Let me make sure that, yeah. Let me make sure I can see the audio is working real quick. This might cause a bit of an echo, I'm sorry in advance. Okay, the audio seems to be wait. Okay. Let me fix that with problem with the music, and then we can continue what I was working on. I promise I will actually get work done. Probably. I don't know, maybe I'll just end up playing video games. Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, I have to calibrate my brush. I'm trying out a different way of doing my tablet. And, oh. No, it's still being weird. Yeah, I have to calibrate it real quick. Or that, or... Nope. Why is it doing that? It's weird. Let's see if it's just that brush. Yeah, it's just... Nope. Okay. Let me... real quick fix that. We're having all sorts of issues today. This was a bad idea. Oh, whatever. Yeah, this is my voice, by the way. I know I sound probably not what people expected, but whatever. I'm one for destroying expectations. Oh. Get distracted. So I think I did the original, like, traditional thumbs of this a couple weeks ago, back when I was in quarantine. Okay, a week ago. How long was that ago? Time's not real. Like, way back at the very beginning of my quarantine. We're just gonna... Yeah. There we go. Keep changes. Yeah, why is it doing that? Okay, let me... This might break everything. Okay, let me look at my stream. Now I can't look at the thing at the same time, which is unfortunate, but nope. Yeah, that's not working either. I don't know what's up with my tablet today. So I think I'm going to have to extend the display, which might mess with everything I've set up, which could be a problem. I'm sorry, I need to change the title too. Let me do that real fast. After I keep these changes. Oh shit. Okay. Edit. Why isn't it not letting me do this? Look. Okay, so title. I'll change it after I get my tablet up and running. There. Now, back to what I was doing. Crap. Hold on, there's a problem with the OBS. This probably isn't honestly the most, like, what's the word? Ideal way to do that. This was a bad idea. It's okay. Everything's okay. Oh my god. I already fixed that. Everything's falling apart. Okay. Where was I? Trying to fix my tablet. I don't know, like, what y'all can see, but what I'm trying... I had it originally, so each, my tablet acts as a second monitor. Keep changes. But you can just extend displays across monitors if you want, and that's what I usually will do. Well, not extend. What's the word? Duplicate. And that's what I usually do, but for some reason, my tablet was, like, I decided that I wanted to try something different and extend my displays. And that messed everything up. So I fixed it. We're good. We can change the title. 0 other people here. Drawing, animating, come vibe, I guess. Drawing and animating, feel free to come vibe. This is how I title things. I just, like, slowly get more and more detailed. Okay, back to work. What have we learned? Do not try new things. I'm kidding, obviously. Try new things, please. It will broaden your worldview and blah, 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 blah. Not your mom, I'm not going to spend 20 minutes explaining what you should have learned from an episode of My Little Pony or something. Music is so chill and I love it. Especially considering I'm drawing angst, like, it feels kind of a little bit cheating. Like, I'm working on angsty thing and it's just like chill lo-fi music in the background. I don't know, I feel like it's contradicting vibes. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going through and I'm cleaning stuff up. I will be checking the chat every couple of minutes. So I don't know if there's anyone actually there, feel free to just talk or like ask me questions or whatever. I don't care. usually I do this and I don't expect anyone to show up, if I'm honest. I just do it for my own kinda, I don't want to say my mental health, because I don't think it's for that. But it is fun, maybe? I don't know. If I say my mental health, the dudes on YouTube who hate mental health will come for me, and I don't want to deal with that. You know, the ones who, like, they're not just on YouTube, but you know the people who are like, oh, mental health is just, like, an excuse to be lazy or whatever. Yeah, those people? Yeah. Those people have never struggled in their life. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe they have. I'm not one to, like, dictate other people's lives, but I'm sorry, but, like, that's such a such a shit thing to say to other people. I don't care if you've been through, like, it's, I don't know. If you know it's a bad thing to say, then, like, you know, I don't know. Just, like, it's probably more because of my own trauma than because of them, but, like, Just, like, it's very frustrating to have your experiences invalidated, I think. But, to be fair, some experiences being invalidated, or, like, I don't know. It's very unfrustrating to be. I don't want to say anything that will, like, make anyone upset. I don't know. And, like, you know how you just ramble sometimes and you don't even 100% believe what you're saying, but you're already on a rant and, like, you don't want to stop because you like talking, because talking makes your brain feel nice, and you're not even really saying anything. It's just kind of words are coming out. Yeah, that's a. Anyway, I swear, I'm always open to change. Okay, this frame looks real weird. This frame looks real weird. Yeah, like I think it's the hair. I'm gonna redo it. It's really hard to figure out what the hair would be doing in this shot. Because when I did my, if you follow me on Twitter, you probably saw it, but when I did my Little Miss Perfect, animation test, it was pretty much just an animation test, but, when I did that, her hair always had, like, a clear direction, but I'm not really sure what Chris's hair would be doing in this shot. It's kind of hard to tell. It's weird, because I usually don't take animating hair into consideration. It's not one of those things I focus on with my work. It's just like, it's, I don't know. I'm still kind of new. I don't want to say I'm new to animation, because I've been, like, learning about animation for years now, but I always kind of, like, never let myself do it, because I was always like, oh, I'm just not good enough and I'll get made fun of. And then I realized I would never improve if I just kind of sat here and did nothing. Oh, I like this shot better. I'm reusing it. There we go. No, this looks bad. So I just kind of, like, decided, okay, I'm just gonna learn, you know? And post what I learn, and what happens, happens. And, like, it's weird how much animation, like, my knowledge of animation has affected other hobbies, I think. Because if you know me, like, if you follow my work, or follow me, especially if you follow me on Twitter, or if you've been subscribed to me in the past, you'll know that I do a lot of editing. Like, a lot. It's honestly my main form of content right now, which is kind of, I'm being gonna be honest, it was never what I really wanted my main form of content to be. Like, I don't mind it, it's just not what I expected. You know? But that's not what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Animation. But because of my knowledge of animation, it gave me kind of, like, especially since most of the stuff I edit with is animated, or at least captured in 24 frames per second, it's kind of really interesting how my knowledge of animation kind of funneled into editing. Because I don't know if you know this, especially if you're not an editor, which, like, fair, editing takes a lot of time, and I frankly do not give myself enough credit for my editing. Because, like, I'll just post an edit and be like, yep, this only took 5 minutes, and it took, like, 3 hours, but I enjoy it a lot, so, ADHD's fun like that, where you think something only took a few minutes, but in reality it took hours, and you haven't processed the fact that the time passed yet. it's like when you're working on something you really enjoy, you just like you don't process time passing, and it can be kind of not great because you'll get so caught up in working on it that you'll run out of time, especially if you have other things to do, which most of us do. You can't just spend all of your time um, editing or animating. Anyway, that was a tangent about a tangent. Where even am I on the tangent, like, the tangent timeline? Oh, these in-betweens are going to be such a bitch to do later. What is going on here? Okay, I think this frame has to be replaced. And this one has to kind of go into that one, if that makes sense. And also, funnily, I've always been real bad with terms. It's just one of those things that I've always struggled with. It's weird because I've always been told I have good vocabulary, but I've always had a hard time with like technical terms. Like my music teacher will tell you that I more often than not will remember a concept better than I'll remember like what it's called. Like the thing that goes burr. But to be fair, a lot of things in music and animation have really stupid names. Like, I don't know whose idea it was to call onion skinning that, but like, I mean, it makes sort of sense because like of the history and crap. But that's just like I don't know. Or like, especially with music. This isn't as much of a problem with animation, but with music, you've got stuff like that you can do that you just don't remember the names of, and then you have a bunch of names stored in your head, and so usually it's just like, you know, I don't know. This is just like me rambling. This is what it looks like. I jump around from topic to topic a lot, talk about whatever pops into my head, and probably annoy the heck out of everyone. The hair is bothering me, but I can't figure out why. Okay, they're like moving up, so maybe the hair should just kind of bounce and then call it a day, you know? Like, instead of this weird flow effect. I'm gonna redo all of these in-betweens because I hate myself. Oh, why did I pull? That should have been a key remove. And like, especially when I'm taking notes, you should see my notes, oh my god. I almost never call things by their actual names and just call them whatever my brain has them saved as. It's pretty rare for me to... Honestly, if you look through my files, a lot of these files don't have, like, professional names. I got out of this habit, but for a long while there, so many of my files were just key smashes, and I was always looking... Because I just kept everything open like a freaking insane person. It's lagging, so hair will lag behind with every movement, right? So maybe if you just have the hair stay, I'm talking to myself. Maybe I should just animate the head and then animate the hair on a separate layer. Because this is getting ridiculous. Like the head and the crap. Bangs. Just like this part, I'm gonna do this on multiple layers. Oh, I'm gonna hate myself. Okay. So, layer 14, this shot is going to be way more complex than it has any right to be, and I'm going to cry when I have to edit this. Well, okay, so my plan for this animatic, or this, it's not animatic, this animation meme, by the way, people who are hating on animation memes really need to get a hobby, like maybe animating, and then maybe they can stop it, because I don't think you realize how long this takes. Even for a simple animation, like, not to bring it up again, but it's one of the most recent things I've done that I'm proud of animation-wise, and that I've actually finished. So None was Perfect. That took me... It took me multiple days. I binged an entire series while I was watching it, but the series was like 6 episodes long and 20 episodes each. So that's about, I don't know, 5 hours. I'm doing math in my head, but that's not a good idea because I'm really bad at math. Hold on. Okay, so 20 times 6 would be like, it took a long time. And even then, I wasn't always watching the series, and I was also doing other things. I think I estimated it took me around 5 hours to do in total, which, I don't know if you know this, but that animation is 14 seconds long. And to be fair, I purposely went all out on that animation, if that makes sense. I wanted to try really expressive movement and stuff, just to try, because I wanted to learn. And most animation, I would do that because I don't hate myself. And also, usually for something bigger, and I have to conserve my energy for later shots. Although one of the shots in here, I'm gonna hate animating it. I can feel it. I might, like, do kind of more of a sketchy style. It might even, like, work thematically. But it's going to be a bitch to animate. I actually already had it animated, but I lost it. Because this is the second time I've attempted to make this. The first time it crashed and I lost, I want to say, I don't want to overestimate it, but I also don't want to underestimate it. I'm just gonna go with 4 hours-ish of work. It was probably more than that, if I'm honest. Like, I'm gonna go 4 to 6. Maybe a little more. And it was honestly, I was really upset. Like, I was honestly really, really upset about it. Losing all of that work was really frustrating. And, like, it happens. I should have saved. And, speaking of which, it happens sometimes. It sucks, but you gotta deal. Oh my god, is my program gonna crash because I saved? I'm gonna be so mad if it does. I'm working on the audio. The meme is Enemy by... Oh shoot, I didn't know the original. Well, this isn't the video. It's fine. Also, I think there's multiple originals for that one, because a lot of people had the same idea, but they didn't, like, interact with each other. Okay. Honestly, this animation meme is probably gonna kill me. Oh, that's a problem. Now I have to go back and redo it again. Fucking fabulous. I curse a lot in real life. Not on purpose, just when I'm at school and I'm comfortable, if that makes sense. Like, if I feel that I won't be punished, I will be cursing nonstop. And I feel so bad because I have this one teacher who doesn't like it, and I do it on accident in his class, and dude, I'm so freaking sorry. I'm so sorry. It's a miracle I haven't gotten kicked out of that class, if I'm honest. It's not even that I'm bad at it. I'm good. It's just like, I would have kicked me out. I would kick me out of everything they know, honestly. But then again, that might be the low self-esteem talking. Gotta love being 13, and I'm not 13, I'm 16. You gotta love being however old I am, and it's sad. It sounds so bad. I'm fine, don't worry. Well, okay, I'm as good as any 16-year-old really can be, especially given the fact that it's high school, and high school freaking sucks. According to, like, every piece of media about it ever. Be yourself, except if yourself is anything but the norm. We're so quirky. Look at all these neurotypical cishet straight white teenagers being themselves. Ooh. Oh, we're not gonna say any queer people. Of course not. Why would we do that? We're great. Oh, that got off topic. I'm sorry. That's... it's not as a problem anymore, but like with the media I grew up with, that was pretty much the norm, right? Like you'd have media about like being yourself even if you're weird, but also don't be yourself if you're this or that. Like it was such a common thing for me personally growing up, and a lot of queer people honestly. And it's kind of sad cuz like so many queer people growing up needed that but didn't get it, and now they're giving it to me. um Especially like with the Owl House and Dana Terrence. I don't know, she's not perfect and no one is, but like it's it means a stupid amount of shit to me that people like Rebecca Sugar and Dana Terrence are working really hard to give that representation they never had as kids, because it's weird to be directly acknowledged. I think honestly for me in any context it's weird to be directly acknowledged. I'm kind of used to people just like offhandedly acknowledging I exist, you know? But like it's so wonderful, I guess, because so often queer people are like, "Oh yeah, but they exist, but they're not the good guys, or they're not important to the story, or they die within the first 5 minutes." And it's frustrating because like that sends this message that queer people are somehow lesser than cishet people, or queer people are like bad for being queer, or that they God, sometimes the message is that they deserved it, and every show that's ever sent that message, I hope you run. You should run. Run. I'm serious. And I'm not even specifically talking to the creators, because I'll be the first one to talk about how a lot of times that's the only representation they're allowed to give, and that's in the best cases, I think. And stuff where it's like, no, yeah, the people who made this are absolutely garbage. Harry Potter. Um, I'm sorry. I actually have someone in my life. Like, I've talked to people about Harry Potter, and I was never really much of a Harry Potter kid. Funnily enough, because of my parents being, you know, conservative and, like, not liking that kind of thing, they never really made much of an effort to, like, get me into that book, you know, because they never bought the books, they never really interacted with it, they didn't hate it, they didn't think it was, like, awful, but, like, they never really, they never really cared. That sounds way worse. I'm making that sound way worse than it is. I was gonna get the hair on another layer. Sorry. I don't know why I'm talking about this. But, like, so I never really interacted much with Harry Potter growing up. But I do think a lot of people did, in that for a lot of people it was really that self-expression series. I think growing up, and for some of us in adulthood and beyond, what does that mean? Don't question it. For teenagehood and beyond, there's this almost expression in what we read. And it's becoming kind of more, I don't want to say like accepted, but almost more, we're becoming more self-aware about it, you know? But like, when you're like with the people who you relate to, right? Like, there's almost a certain pride in that, and like a certain expression, I think, as for the culture of kidding. So for me, that media was like, some of that media for me was freaking Percy Jackson, which, you know, that checks out considering who I am as a person. Which, it's funny that I ended up really liking Percy Jackson, and Wings of Fire was a big one of those for me. And I cannot imagine how I would react if Tweety Sutherland or, God forbid, Rick Riordan turned out to be horrible people. I feel like that would be really hard for me. And even, like, especially given the whole is it still moral to like Harry Potter argument, because I don't think people realize how much people love, part of the reason people love Harry Potter is because of that inherent queerness. J.K. Rowling is going to hate me for saying this, and you know what? Good. Freaking good. But I really don't like her. I'm not excusing the fact that it was written by a transphobic person. This is coming from the mouth of someone who's some flavor of trans. I'm still figuring it out, but like, I don't think it's really fair to, because a lot of the people who do still enjoy Harry Potter are queer and are trans, and I think like there's this almost kind of, it makes sense given what I, now keep in mind I never really interacted with Harry Potter ever, but it makes sense to me, because like, especially with stories with magic, there's this, I don't want to say it's exclusively queer because it's not, but there's this very queer want to get away from the society that treats us the way it does, especially when you're trans, if I'm honest. Because Harry Potter, let's be honest, even given who wrote Harry Potter, I don't think Harry Potter is, as a universe, would give a fuck about your gender. Like, you know? Because, like, they're freaking witches, you know? And there's this almost comfort in that. Like, a society that's not so focused around gender sounds really, really appealing to people who don't really fit into that society's perception of gender, if that makes sense. And I think that's why, for me personally, the Percy Jackson series was that for me, personally. I know for a lot of people that Harry Potter was definitely that series that they really identified with. And so I guess I really understand why people were so shocked and upset about J.K. Rowling. And so, you know, and this is my own analysis this is coming from someone who, again, never liked Harry Potter growing up. And I'm not defending J.K. because I think she's an absolute trash bag, and making fun of her is admittedly kind of fun. But in cathartic, because a lot of us have struggled and been told a lot of the same things she's saying about trans people, and that we don't deserve, like, insert crap here. And for a lot of us, that has left long-term negative mental effects. I know for a fact it has left negative mental effects on me. I don't know why I'm talking about Harry Potter on this stream. No one's here, so it doesn't really matter. And, like, and I'm not saying, I don't want this to be taken out of context, and, like, me saying I support J.K. Rowling. God, no, fuck no. I hate her so much, it's not even funny. Please. And, like, I think it's important to acknowledge that Harry Potter is so much bigger than who and what J.K. Rowling is and was. And it's almost kind of unfair to me to not acknowledge the people who made Harry Potter such a safe space for so many people, even when J.K. was garbage. I don't know why I keep calling her J.K. Even when Rowling was not a very good person. And, like, for a lot of people, I think that it's really difficult to separate the work from the author, and I think it's really important to acknowledge that her views will affect the work and keep that in mind when you're interacting with Harry Potter media, but also keep in mind that she's not the only person who ever shaped Harry Potter. She's the person who wrote the books, yeah, and she's the person she was consulted on the movies, definitely, but, like, she's not the person who made Harry Potter fandom. She didn't make the fanon. She didn't have anything to do with the fanon. In fact, the way Harry Potter is perceived is up to you. And so if you want to read it as every character being trans, you absolutely can, and she can't stop you. This is a PSA. If you read Harry Potter, with headcanon, every single character is trans for me, okay? That's what I do. I don't even, like, do anything with Harry Potter, and it's my personal headcanon that everyone's trans. Every major character except Voldemort. Voldemort's the only cis person. Thank you for giving me my TED Talk. And I guess another thing is because Harry Potter has had such an effect on the media, there's this very valid concern about how it could affect future trans and queer, what's the word? Fuck. The like activism and fighting for rights. Because believe it or not, media does have a very big say on how people are perceived. And if you don't believe me, tell me, where in the world did you get that image of your head of your average superhero? Right? Like picture your average superhero and tell me, what do they look like? Usually, for a lot of people, especially people who grew up in like the early 90s and late 90s and early 80s, that superhero is going to be white, and they're gonna be a man, and they're gonna have a cape, and they're gonna have a big chest, and they're gonna be big strong man, you know, with a cape and shit. That's what most, if not all, people, which, like, I'd hope not all, because personally that sounds boring. I'm sorry, but a superhero like that sounds real boring to me. But, like, you can kind of see how that affects how we view good and bad people, if that makes sense. And if you picture a villain, a lot of times a lot of that villain's traits are very queer. I mean, Scar and what's her face from what's the movie called? The Little Mermaid. I honestly only just recently watched The Little Mermaid, and I think that's a testament to how transphobic and to how weird my childhood was. Like, so many of my childhood, like, stuff was, like, not allowed to happen. It's great. But, so much of, like, my generation's stuff that defined their childhood I was, like, never interacting with as a kid. That's a different topic. But I think it's really important to understand that stuff like this is really nuanced. I don't think it's really fair to anyone in the conversation to go, if you like Harry Potter, you're bad, and if you don't like Harry Potter, you're bad. Because it's like, it's not even that I don't like Harry Potter as a concept. I think that it's an interesting concept beyond the terrible creator, and I think that it's an interesting book series. Why did I become British? I think it's an interesting book series, and I think that it's an interesting case study on, like, a lot of themes and crap. However, it does not. I do think that it's definitely got its flaws and its biases, and that's the biggest thing about Harry Potter. Is you have to be careful, because you have to acknowledge the creator has some real shit biases. We all know it. It's not even that J.K. Rowling, like, but, like, the more people who have something to do with Harry Potter, the less her biases matter, I think. Because, like, I'm pretty sure the actor who played Harry Potter in the movies has come out and said that he supports trans people. And, like, you would be wrong if you said his voice and his, like, face and presentation of the character did not majorly affect how this character is viewed. Especially because he's white. For me personally, especially because the Harry Potter movies were received so well in comparison to, say, like, the Percy Jackson movies, this guy is just as much as is a massive part of Harry as a character in the public consciousness. And he supports trans rights. You know? Like, his voice was just as important in making Harry come to life in the movies and shit. And, like, there are editors and people who work on Harry Potter, and I don't even know if J.K. Rowling is the sole writer behind Harry Potter anymore. I'd be genuinely curious to find out. I kind of doubt it, because with a book series like that, you're not going to be... I'd imagine you're not the sole writer. I don't know, it's just, I think Harry Potter as a series has become a lot bigger than JK. And, oh, also, and I'm not saying that means, like, monetarily supporting her is okay. Piracy exists, baby. Don't do piracy. That's bad and illegal, and don't do it. Don't do crimes. That would be bad. please do not do the crimes. This is me actively discouraging you from doing the crimes. Anyway, but like I get when a lot of people not wanting to monetarily support her, but I also understand the view of someone who's like, well, I mean, she's already a billionaire. I don't think she's gonna miss $5, you know? Which, like, both are valid, but like, for me personally, I just don't want to monetarily support her in any way because I feel, because it's my money is what it is for me. Like, the idea of my money going towards something that not only is against all of my morals, but could actively hurt people I care about and me. Yeah, no, thank you. I'm keeping my money and I'm going to buy a Percy Jackson book with it or something. I hope that doesn't age bad. Please, for the love of God, Rick Warden, please keep continuing to be a good person and don't do anything bad. Please don't support NFTs or I don't know what I'd do if Rick Warden turned out to be bad because like he's done and said so many like wonderful things, you know, like from writing Nico as a gay guy or writing a gender fluid character. And like I didn't even read all of the Harry Potter books. I got to like book 6 before I stopped reading, but like I know about this just from internet fandom osmosis. I can't pronounce the word, but you know what I mean. Like I just know from being involved in the internet as long as I have been like about these things. And it's like really cool. Especially because a big reason from what I've heard of why Rick wrote the series was to give people with ADHD and queer people more representation because he was a teacher and a father and he saw those people being treated poorly. You know? Like, it's really sweet. And, like, he's been criticized, but he's taken the criticism. And that's the thing with J.K. Rowling, for me, just personally, why part of the reason I don't like her so much is because she doesn't listen to anyone. You know? Like, she'll and, like, I don't think anyone is going to, especially trans people, are going to try and defend her actions, because her actions are garbage. And she's definitely a TERF, and I don't like TERFs, because, 1, trans women are cool. 2, I'm trans. Trans women are cool. Oh, also, I'm a trans person. And, like, I have always thought it was weird when we excluded trans women from trans conversations, because it's almost as if they don't realize that trans women, like, are women. I mean, that's repetitive to say, of course they don't think that, but, like, they don't look... Like, when you see a trans girl, even when she's, like, mostly... Like, I don't know. Like, if you see a trans girl, a lot of times, I don't know. It's like this idea of, like, set idea of femininity, which is frustrating in its own right, especially considering that structure and that set idea of femininity is a part of the reason so many people liked Harry Potter, to my knowledge, is because it wasn't there, because these were witches and no one gave a fuck. Then again, maybe the wizards and witches being the magic genders should have been assigned. I don't know. I don't know very much about Harry Potter, so I could be wrong, but I imagine for a lot of people that it was kind of freeing to see, like, this kind of genderless... And, like, it wasn't gender essentialist, I think. Because, like, up until recently, we have lived in such a gender essentialist world, and we still kind of do. Like, at least I did. I grew up in a very gender... Like, it wasn't a women can't do this and men can't do this. It was more of a... It was just more of a... You would have certain expectations set upon you as a woman that men don't have, and you have certain expectations set upon you as a man that women don't have. And, like, I say this, I had siblings. I have multiple siblings. And siblings from both sides of the gender. And, like, from both sides of that, and, like, just from what I witnessed as a kid, that can be really negative, because it causes a lot of people to view the other gender in a very negative way, for one. And two, I think it causes, like, a lot of people to view themselves in a really negative way. Because, like, if you punish a boy for acting like a girl, he's going to assume that girls are bad. It's just, it's the basic assumption, not boys can't act like girls. It's that acting feminine is bad, especially when there aren't very many female figures around him. Which, side note, I don't know. It's very complex, and I don't know why I spent so long talking about this. It's just, I can't talk about this with other people. Cleaning this is gonna be a bitch. Right, what does the hair look like? Okay, not good, but it doesn't look bad, so I'm gonna leave it. It doesn't look good, but it doesn't look bad, so we're just gonna... Okay, now we're gonna go through and we're gonna animate the body, which is gonna be... I keep saying, this is gonna be a bitch. One thing I did a lot when I was animating something, I don't remember exactly what it was, I think it was, again, Noelle, as I started doing things backwards at one point, because it was just easier to, do, if that makes sense. Like, it was easier to think about the movement when it was happening backwards, which is weird. I guess it was easier to think about it in a kind of, like, objective way. That's weird to say. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of hard to put things into words for people who aren't really very art-centered and don't know what I'm talking about, so I'm just gonna move on. I had something to talk about for the last hour, and now I don't, and now I'm trying to think of another topic. So the Owl House. That sure could happen. I've been seeing, like, a lot of fake news, and, yep, sure do not want fake news. No. God, what am I saying? Of course I want new episodes, but I also feel it's important to not, please, God, please stop attacking the crew over it. Like, I don't even mean attacking, just, like, I see people going into Dana's replies, like, hey, when are the new episodes? When are the new episodes? And all I have to say to that is freaking stop. She can't tell you. She is under law not to tell you. Stop annoying her with it. She has to get freaking permission from Disney before she can announce it. So stop bothering them about the episodes. They can't do anything. I'm sorry. It's a pet peeve of mine in general when people annoy artists for, like, new content. Like, honey, I'm sorry, but stop. You're terrible. Please, God, stop doing that. It should no longer be socially acceptable. If someone bothers an artist for a release date, we should, like, throw them off a hill or something. I mean, keeping people accountable is great and wonderful, and do that. But also acknowledge that art takes time, and more importantly, a lot of times they can't tell you. Okay, I think I'm ready to... Oh god, okay, this is, honestly, this bounce from here to here is kind of bothering me. But I don't know how to fix it, so we're just gonna leave it. No, we're not. How are we gonna fix this? Okay, so the mouth is gonna go bye-bye, and this is gonna go up. Honestly, I think that bothering the crew about things is just kind of jerky in general. I don't know, I'm not one to annoy the crew. I'm not one to annoy anyone. I'm just not, like, I don't talk to people. Especially people I look up to. Because I've half because, like, trauma, and half because, like, I respect them and I want them to, please, for the love of God, work. I want people to leave them alone, is my thing. Like, I 100% get wanting more content, and I get fandom brain, but I don't think, I don't know. Just, please, God, stop attacking crews. They're gonna hate us, and I don't want to be a part of a fandom where the creator hates the fans. You know? I hate it. I hate it. I just hate it, you know? I hate it when, crews are constantly, like, annoyed over stuff. Cause, like, there's nothing they can really say that won't get them in trouble or fired, so stop asking. Stop trying to get... I don't know. Unrelated, but it only took one frame to fix this, and I'm reeling from that. It took a singular frame to make this look better. I don't know what to say. But okay. I'm doing the lip sync on another layer, which is why no one has a mouth. Okay. I'm gonna do this in a different folder because... Alright, this is gonna physically hurt, but I should probably finish the sketches. Alright. I should also probably do the coloring of this so I don't have to do it later. Where even would the coloring be? Let's go back and see. Oh, no, that's Noelle. Why is that even... That's on the wrong layer. Whatever. Okay. Layer 14. Oh boy. I'm gonna turn this off and at least try to do the coloring. Assuming I didn't fuck it up, which there's a high possibility I fucked it up because I'm bad at this. Yep, okay. It's okay. None of us are perfect. Alright. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix the weird hair in a minute. Okay. I honestly just want to go through and get this colored. It's just like, please, I want to have Chris's hair be done and animated, and then we can move on to their next frame where I'm just gonna cry for 20 minutes and somehow it's going to make an animation. Alright, this is gonna be absolute hell. Hellfire. This is gonna feel like hellfire. In other words, this is gonna be hard. It's not gonna be hard, it's just gonna be... take a while. Don't you hate that? Like, something's not hard and it's not challenging, but it's just taking forever. Because it's tedious, that's the word. God, I hate school culture in general, I think. Like, this is coming from someone who also doesn't like homeschool culture, because I was in that too. But I really hate, like, I hate crunch culture and, like, everything. Oh, jeez. Because, like, I think obviously it's toxic, but it's also very toxic, and I don't want to be a part of it, but I have to because this is the industry I want to go into. Like, I don't know. This has been my dream since I was, like, 10, you know? And I don't know what I'm gonna do anymore. Not to get too deep on you, but I don't know. I just don't know, you know? I don't know, maybe by the time I get into the industry, things will have changed a little bit. I see a lot of people pushing for change, and I'm trying to do my part, even though the most I can really do is just a couple retweets on Twitter and signing a couple petitions here and there, but I'll do my part. And I think that it's unfair to a lot of, like, I don't know. This has been my dream, like I said, but I also don't want to be taken advantage of by a company like Disney, because I don't know, I have so many mixed feelings on Disney as a company, and I have so many mixed feelings on most animation studios. It's really difficult to, because I think what I don't like is NDA. Like, I like it as a way to avoid spoilers, but, like, I really hate it being used as a way to keep people from talking about the mistreatment they suffered from a studio, because then the studio gets away with it without any consequences. And if they get away without any consequences, other people suffer, and that's not good. Anyway, new deal for animation. For the love of God, pay these animators. They deserve it. They make amazing work. For the love of God, go retweet or like go sign some petitions and go freaking yell at Disney for not paying their animators enough. Please and thank you. If enough people yell at Disney, they'll change. Hopefully. Maybe. It's frustrating because for me, because like I was saying, this has been working in the animation industry has been my dream for years now. How it's been what I've been working towards and why I dedicated so much time into learning animation and learning about animation. It's my passion, but I don't know if I really want to work in that industry just based off of how they treat the people who work in them, you know? I really want to be an animator, but I also really don't, because I don't want to support Disney in any way. I mean, I don't want to support the way Disney treats the people who work for them, and I'm sure it's not just the animators. I mean, I would not be surprised if they mistreated their live-action actors. Actually, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere they do, so... It's just real difficult to, like... It's real difficult to reconcile, I guess. And, like, I already have some really bad, work-life balance, or school-life-work balance. I don't even have a job, technically, but this is what I consider my job, right? Like, becoming good at art has been my focus and drive for so long, right? That, like, it's the most important thing to me. Or it was. I don't really know what I want anymore. Which is a bad time to have this crisis, because I'm a sophomore in high school and I'm gotta make all these decisions, right? I don't know. Many people who work in the animation industry are watching this. Hire me, please. It's like, I would totally be down to work for an indie studio, like, to work on a movie like Wolfwalkers. And, like, those are becoming more and more common. And I'm excited about that, I think. And I'm really happy to see where Wolfwalkers and stuff goes. Like that studio and like the studio that made Ron's Gone Wrong. I don't know how the people on that movie were treated. I hope they were treated good. Because it's important to me. And it doesn't help that the people around me don't really seem to care. You know? I mean, I don't know, maybe if you're on YouTube and you clicked on a video that's about drawing, or a live stream about drawing, then I'd hope you'd care about that kind of thing. But, I mean, not everyone is so empathetic, or not everyone has the energy to care. That sounds bad. Like, I don't know, for me personally, it's always like, I'm always so busy that it's like, I'll see something and I'll be like, I can't do anything about this, you know? And I want to help, but I can't. Because, one, I'm a minor. This is a child who has no voting rights yet. 2 years. 2 more years. I will have voting rights in 2 years. And after that, even then, like, there's not as much as you can do because of my parents. And, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, I think, to step back and go, there's not much I can do to help. But it is kind of a bad thing to ignore when there is something, and, like, you always have, because of social media, at least, if you almost always have a voice. And it's important, especially if you're white and, like, cishet and, like, not visibly a minority. And honestly, just a minority, not a minority in general, it's always important to lift up minorities' voices, you know? Like, I'm white. I'm white, and I think it's very important to lift up people of color's voices because, like, it's just because, like, people of color are often ignored in conversations about people of color, especially in companies, and that's really frustrating. Hold on, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go onto silent for a bit because people are here now. Hold on. Anyway, I'm going to turn my mic off for a bit because I've been talking nonstop for like myself 300 years. Hello. Alright, there's no one here, but I feel the need to do an outro anyway. So I am going to go ahead and call it. There's was one person in here who chatted and I didn't see them and they left. So if you're watching this back, hi. Thank you for vibing with me for while I rambled about random things that interest me and that I think are important. I do appreciate people. Thank you for coming to my dumb little stream where I worked on this project that will probably never get finished because I'm taking forever on it. And thank you for your time and crap. I don't know. I don't know how to do outros. Okay, bye.